Hello everyone, Brian Jennings here, the Critical Sorcerer, right? The Millennial Dragon. This channel exists to process my pathological relationship with Quentin Tarantino. I am the reason that Quentin canceled his film, The Movie Critic, last April, right? And that set into motion a sequence of events that led to where we are now, right? And so the takeaway is that Quentin is a powerful psychic clairvoyant who expects to possess and control the minds of any actors in his films. And when I refused to give him control of my mind at a screening of Jackie Brown last year at De Niro Con, he and the people closest to him in his coven, right, entered into a Faustian covenant to compel me to madness, to compel me to feel overwhelmed in my mind so that I would blow my brains out, and he gets his scene for free. Right? There's no other way to interpret it. He didn't do everything that he's done for the two of us to be able to say, hey, how's it going? And for us to hear it immediately, right, in the psychic crucible of the mind's eye. Right, that's a diseased, sick psychology. Right, there's nothing healthy about that. Right, and that's what it is now. Right, therefore, his intention was always to overwhelm my mind and compel me to suicide, so that he could say, "Ha! Now I got you. Now I stole all your life force, and I got your scene for free. I'm the big dick psychic in the world." Right? And so this channel exists as a reckoning, right, to the erroneous behavior that he has exhibited over the last year. Right? If he was cool, right? If Quentin was actually cool, right? Like, if he looked at that beautiful goddess he calls a wife, right? She's so fine. Right? Daniela, pick. Right? If he looked to the two children, right, that depend upon him, that need him, and said, no, this is my life, like this is what's good in my life. If he looked into the voice of God inside of himself and said, I have so much, I've been given so much, I don't have to control this man, right? Then he would have produced a non-disclosure agreement, paid me a pittance, paid me nothing, and said, your LA privileges are revoked. You don't want to play the game by my rules, then you don't get to be in my movie, right? Rather than do that, rather than be reasonable, right? He said, oh no, this guy doesn't want to, this guy thinks that his mind's like stronger than mine. I'm going to use my mind to compel him to blow his brains out. Right? And so Production Weekly has published, right, that he will be kicking off an untitled Quentin Tarantino project with Sony and Stacey Sher and Angie McDonald in December because he failed to make me blow my brains out, right? And now he's stolen my wisdom, right? Because it's a mind game, right? You see the board behind me? I know the mind game, right? And has descended into palpable black magic evil, right? Right? To compel me to madness. All to compel me to madness, right? He's doing evil, like palpable black magic evil, right? To drive me insane. And my letter to the Pope likely arrived today. I don't know that, but I'm feeling it. And he probably won't read it for another few days. Right? But my point is that these games that he's playing at have nothing to do with the movies, right? If this was just about a movie, he would have said, sign that non-disclosure agreement and you go play Hamlet in Honolulu, right? You go play Hamlet in South Dakota. Hollywood ain't for you. And that would have been perfectly reasonable, right? But, right, he has a God complex and can't stand the thought of an actor existing in the world that didn't bend to his psychic whim. So I've written a novelization of my experiences, right? We're reading through the novel, we're talking about the writing, we're talking about the nature of reality, right? And so I'll pick up where I left off. I know you're going to set the stage on fire, I know it. And I know you're going to be back here, and I have no choice but to look into your green eyes, motherfucker. But now I resent and despise your strength, Willow yells. She's getting what she wants. Alistair is too. But like I mentioned in my tape after I tested negative, the tactics of it all are so vile and despicable. I'm trying to rest my body and soul while I can. It is so exhausting, this connection we have. I will try again. Lisa stresses that she loves me and for me to forget it, not to forget it. Which is a very loving thing to say. And I want to love you too, Lisa. Sitting now at the Forest Hills McDonald's. I was just queasy, and I know why. She is upset because I keep reducing her on the page to what she is, a canker. Alistair laments, you did everything right with my daughter. And that he has shame? I don't know if that's the word. He says it, that he is ashamed. And now I'm crying again. The futility, the grief, intentional grief. It makes no sense to me. You're almost home, Clay tells me. You get here, and the logical sequence of steps is put into motion. I'm almost home. Lisa tells me she is in love with me. Really. That she knows Willow has my heart and mind, all fucked up. But that I can look to her, and I try, though it is difficult. I see a silhouette of a person atop a peak, between two other higher peaks, all cast in shadow. If it is her soul, the light is running from it, which is to say, she sojourns into darkness willingly with zealous ignorance. I now think maybe this subutex has me queasy, but I know better. She relishes torturing me. I do not understand it at all. I'll be in Memphis soon, and the suffering must continue. A 5-hour walk around the airport to the nearest truck stop off Interstate 40, where I have to stick my thumb out and trust in God. Q says that I'm so much, that I just have to make it to them, and then I can be good to Lisa, Hazel too, and that Willow, I don't know. But they all know she is torturing me, and Alistair admits that I am right. That she likely does get some perverse pleasure out of being cruel to me. Hamlet, Clay says, that's what's important. I want you to be with my daughter, just like Alistair wants you to be with Willow. And Lisa tells me, I am in love with you, does that mean anything? To which I reply, yes, of course, it means a lot. My head is just fucked up by all of it. And she tells me emphatically, I understand. My hot stepmom tells me the reason. And it is true, I know. Willow behaves this way because she knows Lisa and I will be together soon. And she hates the thought of sharing me. I'm the primary, she yells. And now it seems pathetic and sad and pointlessly evil. Alistair tells me she is in love with me, and he is as confused as I am. And she yells, I hate that I am in love with you. It's obvious she loves nothing. No, not even that. She only does it continuously with anyone she spends 5 minutes with, because she doesn't know how to do anything else. I often tell people I like to keep the conversation going, because if it lulls, then everyone around me will realize how fucked up I am. And I suspect it is a similar sentiment with Willow. That if she is not satisfying someone sexually or stealing the secrets of some poor unfortunate mind unaware, then those around her will realize how one-dimensional and tacky she is. God, I hate when he calls me tacky, she says. You're fucking tacky! To which I reply, that's not true. You know, I'm the coolest fucking guy you've ever encountered, and no matter how much cock you stuff inside of yourself, I will never be surpassed. What am I supposed to do, she asks. Pick up a fucking paintbrush and paint something. Buy a keyboard and take piano lessons. Go tutor children after school. I showed her where she could do it. Cook dinner for your family. Alistair is upset, as am I, as are we all. 10 p.m. in Memphis. I walked 10 miles from the Greyhound station around the airport to the nearest truck stop, Love's, which is obviously a denizen of vice. Ghetto black lot lizards make their rounds plying their wares, with pimps driving NASCAR laps around this motherfucker, stopping every other lap to collect perpetual left turns. I considered getting to Nashville, which I discussed with Glint, and he agreed I should go there, but I didn't have a ticket and would have been nowhere near the interstate. I do not want to be beguiled back to Mississippi. I am only here on the way to New York. There's nothing for me here, for now. All that bullshit Willow threw at me about wanting to meet my family, cowardice. I know I too suffer from said affliction, but this is cosmic cowardice, celestial comatose, egregious, exorbitant bullshit, really fine, rarefied from the upper atmosphere type bullshit. It will be a long night, I'm sure. And I'll stop there. So, it's a conversation, right? It's a novelization of my experiences on the psychic frontier with Quentin Tarantino, right? With regards to the movie Critic, right? Everything that you heard, right, is all bullshit. It's all an elaborate, convoluted ruse, right? To compel me to madness so that I would step out into traffic, right? So that I would put a bullet in my mouth, a bullet to my temple, and then he can have my scene for free, right? Because he thought, oh, this guy doesn't want to give me what I want. My mind's just as strong as his is. My mind's stronger than his is. I'll use my mind that he didn't want to submit to compel him to blow his brains out, to compel him to kill himself on the side of the road, right? To compel him, right, to get run over by traffic. And then I'll have his scene for free, right? And then no one will ever have to know. And what I'll say about that, right, the real tragedy of all of that, right, that I could say something about Quentin and Daniela being a fucked up couple, right? I could say something about Quentin being a fucking degenerate who hires other degenerates to all insulate his evil, right? I could say all of those things, right? But a better thing to point out, right, is that William Morris Endeavor has been aware of this campaign for an entire year now. Right? Sony has been aware of this campaign for an entire year now. Right? That he admittedly, right? I'm smart, I get it, right? He didn't tell them everything that he was going to do, right? He said, no, we're waiting, I'm handling it. And they said, okay, right, complicated auteur, right? That we're, okay, we trust you, right? Sony, right? We want to make your $1 billion movie, right? We want you to make the movie with us, right? So we're not going to say anything, right? We're going to insulate you, and we'll wait for you to produce the script and make the movie when you're ready, right? Same with William Morris Endeavor. Oh, we appreciate that you've given us our piece of the flesh, right? Our pound of flesh, right? But what I'm saying now is that, do you still, right, like now that I'm calling you out, do you still want to accept your portion of the responsibility? Do you still want to say, yeah, we support Quentin Tarantino in his campaign to destroy this innocent man's mind, right? Quentin doesn't get the right to fucking destroy any mind that doesn't bend to his psychic whim, right? That's a sick, perverse, degenerate philosophy, right? That we're all living in the world, right? All men created equal under the singular eye of God, right? And if I don't control someone's mind with my mind, right, that doesn't mean that I have the right to compel him to madness and suicide, right? So that he doesn't exist in the world at the same time as I do, right? Like that's a sick, degenerate philosophy. There's no grace in that at all, right? And so everything that I've done, right, from Tribeca, I felt bad at Tribeca, right, because I knew that he needed me, right? He needed me to bark like a dog, right? Like I realized that when I saw there was a bunch of people behind me, right? Like I saw that, right? But between June, right, between that day, right, through January the 1st, essentially, of this year, right, the whole time I was like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry, like, what can I do to make it right? Abandoned all of my worldly possessions, abandoned my vehicle, abandoned my job, right? Lived on the street, right? Which WME was aware of, right? Loving unconditionally a woman who doesn't exist, right? Loving unconditionally his wife, right? And his other woman that played the part, right? Like, oh, we're good actors, right? Like again, it's direction, right? Like this is the shit that he's into, right? That he wants to see people with his wife. He wants to direct them, right? Right? All the while, them saying, oh, okay, this is Quentin, right? Like, oh, okay, like his mind is neither here nor there because like we're Hollywood elites and so like we're above the law of God and we're above ethical standards, right? That all that time I was like, oh, like what can I do to make it right? Like how can I make this right? Right? Until January the 1st, when I printed out the girl's picture, right? Like I only knew what she looked like because of Quentin. Just so that like we're all on the same page here, right? That right before I hit the bus, right, to begin this journey that we're in the middle of right now in terms of the reading, right? They said, just look me up. Oh, that's me right there. Allison Tarantino, right? Instagram handle at @Allygene_3 or 4, right? That's me. That's the one who gets pissed on for $500 an hour, right? And so when I printed out her picture, right, and said, okay, I'm going to remote view you on New Year's Eve because, right, it's New Year's Eve, it's a holiday. This is when people are celebrating, right? And of course, they poisoned my mind immediately, right? Right? Led me to believe that she was getting fucked all night, that she left the nightclub she was at. It's all bullshit. I don't know what she was doing, right? Because he doesn't want me watching her, right? And it's in the novel, we're going to get there soon enough, right? Where he said, oh, you can't force it, right? When he saw me staring at her picture, I said, who's forcing anything? This is how it's done. Right? Right behind me. Right? Which eventually led to him saying, oh, there is no daughter. Everything I've been saying is bullshit. I don't want you to persist in the way that you're going because you're a savage and you're going to do things that inevitably disrupt my life in some way because I'm the one who's been fucking with you all this time. Me and the people around me. That this girl, Allison, she has nothing to do with me. Right? So, I suppose I'll stop. I've been going on for some time. I'll recite some Hamlet. Maybe... Right? The introduction of the players. Speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, tripping them on the tongue. But if you mouth it, as many of our players do, I had as lief the town crier spoke my lines, nor do not saw the air too much with your hand thus, but use all gently, but in the torrent, tempest, and as I may say, whirlwind of your passion, you must acquire and beget a temperance. That may give it smoothness. Oh, it offends me to the soul to see a robustious, periwig-pated fellow tear a passion to tatters, to very rags, to split the ears of the groundlings, who for the most part are capable of nothing but inexplicable dumb shows and noise. I would have such a fellow whipped for ordering termagant, it out-headed, pray you avoid it. Be not too tame neither, but let your discretion be your own tutor. Suit the action to the word to the action with this special observance, that you o'erstep not the modesty of nature, for anything so o'erdone is from the purpose of playing, whose end, both at the first and now, was and is, to hold as 'twere the mirror up to nature, to show virtue her feature, scorn her own image, and the very age and body of the time is form and pressure. Now this overdone or come tardy off, though it make the unskilful laugh, cannot but make the judicious grieve, the censure of which one must in your allowance o'erweigh a whole theatre of others. Oh, there be players that I have seen play, and heard others praised, and that highly, not to speak it profanely, that having neither the accent of Christians, nor the gait of Christian, pagan, nor man, have so strutted and bellowed, that I have thought some of nature's journeymen had made men, and not made them well. They imitated humanity so abominably. And let those that play your clowns speak no more than is set down for them. For there be of them that will themselves laugh, to set on some quantity of barren spectators to laugh too. But in the meantime some necessary question of the play be then to be considered. That's villainous. And I forgot the end of it, so that's terrible, that's so bad. I've never said this, but I'll go to it. So see what's good in your life, uplift your soul to God. God bless.